Today we're going to talk about music, and I know you've all heard me say that I think music is overrated for what we do, and it is only in the sense that if what you sell is music, you're not going to do very well. You know, when I became a DJ a million years ago, one of the reasons they had to hire a DJ was they just didn't have access to the music that we do. But listen, everybody with a computer, which is everybody in the world, has access to our music. So now it becomes our expertise. One of the things that I think DJs do is that they make the mistake of too wide of categories for their music. So they have cocktail music, or dinner music, and dance music. And certainly those are, general areas you can use, but there's a lot more to it than that. And I want you to think of your music not as background music ever, but as soundtrack music. Background music is what you hear in the dentist's office or in an elevator, right? It's white noise. But think about when you see a movie, and I've demonstrated this on stage before. I hope you guys some of you have seen me do the thing with The Shining, with the opening, with the music from The Shining versus some upbeat Michael Bublé music, and it changes the entire feel of the movie. So think of soundtrack. When guests first walk in, if this was a movie, what would the soundtrack be? What do they want this to feel like? That's how you create the music. So sort of my default for when people first arrive is I want it to feel upbeat, energetic, fun, not dance level, but I don't want garden party. If we're going to have a ceremony outside in a lovely garden setting, then I might do some soft piano music, maybe some string quartet style stuff. That's that mood that I'm trying to create. But now they've come to the celebration, so I want it to feel upbeat and fun. Dinner typically comes down a little bit in energy. So we've had our cocktail hour, we've done our introductions, and again, think about part of the reason I want that cocktail period before introductions upbeat is I don't want to go from, Yanni and Enya and garbage like that, not that it's bad music, it just doesn't fit for what you're trying to do, to high energy introduction music and then back to that again. So I want it to feel upbeat and fun. And so style-wise, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm playing country, reggae, pop, oldies, Latin, you name it, but it should have, people should feel this, right? So now once you go from that, now dinner can still be, again, any of those genres, but a little bit more low-key, but not through the whole dinner. So for us in Sacramento, California, probably 90% of the events that we do are buffet. For me, one of the key parts is once the bride and groom have finished eating and they get up and go around, they start visiting with their guests, there's typically another 20 to 40 minutes of them visiting before we move on. But when they get up and they start moving around, I'm beginning to ramp up the energy of the music. So I can still be playing Frank Sinatra, but if I'm doing Strangers in the Night, that's a lovely, cool, loungy sort of thing, a cool lounge. But I can go from that into Fly Me to the Moon, which is still Sinatra, but much more upbeat. And I might pick more Bublé style music at that point. But I'm also doing rock, pop, you name it. I got, Huey Lewis. I'm doing Carrie Underwood. I mean, I can go any direction, but I want it to feel upbeat and fun. So think soundtrack. So what do we want this to feel like? Now we're getting ready to go into these other activities. What do I want that to feel like? When we're doing the bouquet, the garter, not just a kitschy piece of music, but what do we want to create just before their first dance to transition into the first dance? How are we going to do that with music? One of the problems that I have with, the East Coast style is the super high energy introduction straight into the first dance with no transition. And because I don't think you can go from, Black Eyed Peas, directly into Pitbull, something high energy. I don't think you can do that and then go into, At Last or something without a transition. And so that's why we'll have the groom do a little welcoming first and transition it, and some things like that. So always think soundtrack. If you were making a movie, what would you want this part of the movie to be? And that goes all the way to the end credits, right? So at the end of the night, I always have traveling music. So once I've done our big finale. We've done the super high energy. The place is just blowing up, high energy. And I've said, congratulations, good night. The music doesn't just stop, right? You can always, and people will say, oh, but the venue make us stop. No, stop a few minutes early. You know, if you go into 11, make your finale end at 10:55. That gives you 5 minutes. You can do another couple of songs at lower volume like they would do in a soundtrack for a movie. And then they have a little traveling music. So it's not just good night, you know, full on lights, go home. It's like you're giving them the bum's rush. Have them leave with some feel-good soundtrack. We didn't make it in there in a minute today, but pretty darn close. Made it under 6. See ya.